Hi all, welcome to this, our final video in our population geography topic. In today's video, we're going to be looking at our final case study in the topic, which is looking at our last example of migration. And this is going to be an example of forced migration. Now, before we get into it, I wanted to spend a moment just looking at a little bit of context for what it is we're talking about. Now, the quote-unquote title for our migration is Syrians into Italy. However, to say just Syrians is really not kind of doing it giving it the right title. Is we're talking about a variety of refugees who are fleeing from various areas, primarily in Africa, but some from the Middle East as well, who are fleeing through Libya into the EU via Italy. Now, a couple of bits of context is 2011, particularly for Libya, outward migration wasn't a particularly big concern. Most migrants were temporary professional migrants or students who were leaving Libya. But then in 2011 we've got the outbreak of the civil war in Libya. Now by August 2012 we've got over 100,000 Libyans living abroad, which is 1.6% of the total resident population of Libya. And throughout the entire crisis we had over 7,500,000 migrants fleeing through Libya. Now that's not to say all of these migrants are Libyans, they clearly can't be, but we've got a wide variety of other nationalities fleeing through Libya, and they're able to do that because of the instability that's created in the country thanks to the civil war. Now I've got a map here just to show us some of the main migration routes that different people take. Now if you look, we've got a variety of land routes, from Morocco that sweeps across to the east and then up towards Tripoli in Libya. We've got routes that come from Mali and the rest of Western Africa that again they sweep north. Some go towards Algiers, some sweep towards Tripoli as well, and other ports along the coast. We've got Syrian refugees that cross south and then over through Egypt and on again into Libya. And again, we've got refugees that come from Eritrea, Somalia, Niger, etc. The point being, we've got a wide variety of refugees who take a wide variety of different routes to get to places like Tripoli so that they can try and make the crossing into Europe. Now, it's not the only crossing route that they have. Obviously, you can see here there's crossing points from Morocco into Spain, from Algeria into France, etc. as well, Tunisia across into Italy as well. But these are some of the examples that we have, and we're going to be focusing on the idea of migrants using the crossing from Tripoli in Libya through into Italy. Now, forced migration. Now with this, we really only focus on the pull factors because you can basically flip them on their head, as we spoke about in the last video, to get a degree of the push factors. One of the big ones, political stability. These are people who are fleeing places that are either literally, in the context of Libya, actually undergoing a war, in the case of the civil war there, or they're undergoing other types of political instability, and it can be violent or not. Very many of these people are moving in the search of employment or better pay, or both. Certainly an improvement to their standard of living, an improvement to the style of education and the quality of the education that their children have access to, an improvement in the healthcare system that their children have access to. Now, another thing that works as a very, very big pull factor in this case is this idealised idea of what life in Europe will be like. People get these images from various media outlets of largely middle class or better off people in Europe, and they think that's the life that they're going to move over and immediately gain. This obviously isn't the case, but it does form a pull factor into the region. Now we have also got a network of successful migrants throughout Europe, which pulls people into the continent, and as we've said, one of the ways for them to get into the continent is to migrate into Italy. Now, one of the big sets of consequences we have here, now I've split the consequences up a little bit differently to how I did in the previous video, in that we've got positive and negative for the host country, we've got general concerns for the migrants themselves, and then we've got impact on the donor nation as well. So the host country, in terms of Italy, the EU at large, we're looking at an increase in working population. For the migrants that make the transition legally into these nations, they will be a benefit to the tax system because they will be working, they'll be paying taxes, and that is a benefit. However, you've got a large, extremely large volume of illegal migrants, and illegal migration is very, very difficult to control by its very nature, and that means it's a big concern to people. People are worried by it. So that's extremely difficult. You've then also got the fact that you've got all of these people who need basic requirements met. They need to be put into shelter, they need to be fed, they need to be watered, clothed. If they've got health concerns, they need to be addressed. That puts pressure on the host country's resources. It's all well and good me saying that these migrants are moving to the kind of the quote-unquote EU, but if they land on Italy's shores, Italy has to deal with them then and there, and the Italian government need to deal with the pressure that puts on them. Now, the migrants themselves obviously have concerns about what they're going to be doing. The travel is dangerous. They're crossing areas that are quite literally undergoing armed conflict, or you're talking about trying to cross the Mediterranean in extremely poor boats, sometimes very little more than life rafts. You know, I'm sure we've all seen different images of these types of crossings on the news, and very many of these crossings end tragically, and many people drown. There's also large instances of human trafficking. You know, if you make it to a lot of these ports in a variety of the Northern African states, the people who are getting you across the Mediterranean will ask for, you know, $1,500 plus to get you onto a boat, and to then, with the promise of getting you across. Sometimes they ask for more than that. Sometimes they don't even provide a crew for the boats, where they'll just fill a boat with migrants, turn it head to sea, and say, go that way. And then they need to navigate themselves. And these are people who, in all likelihood, have got no experience of doing something like that. So it's very, very dangerous. Now, the last one, the consequences for the donor nation, for Libya, etc. themselves. Well, one, the bright side, if you will. There is a reduced pressure on national resources. There are fewer people who need to utilise the healthcare systems, education systems, housing, etc. However, it's a population decrease, and that comes with consequences as well, such as you can earn less in taxation, or taxable revenue. You see communities and family groups being split up and broken and spread to the winds, and like I said a moment ago, your working population decreases, and that means, one, your net productivity in your whole country goes down, but two, the amount of taxable revenue that you have also goes down. Now guys, we'll obviously wrap this up in our lesson tomorrow, but please make sure that we've got kind of the skeleton and the notes down for this, and we'll discuss it then. And that's going to be the end of this topic. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.